Hi, I'm Angeline. Before watching this twin flame reading, please watch the video that I've linked to in the description box below to see my approach to the twin flame reading and how you can get the most out of it.
Hello, love. This is your twin flame reading for Friday, September, the 13th, 2019. But first, a word from our sponsor. This video features this prayer bowl that I made in the style of the Huichol of Mexico's Huichol bead art, and I am busily and happily making these skulls for Dia de los Muertos, which is coming up momentarily. It's Halloween, Day of the Dead, and this is part of the tradition, a Mexican tradition, and so I'm making these beaded Dia de los Muertos skulls. All the art that appears in the videos that I make are available for purchase in the Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/EyeOfGodArt. What I've done is I've put all the kings and the queens from this deck into two piles, and we're going to select one from each to represent the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And we'll go from there. Okay, let's see, how should we pick? Okay, that one slid out. So this is the divine masculine, the King of Swords. He's somebody who knows his mind. He is not swayed by emotion. He's very clear about his thoughts. He's very clear about his decisions, and he knows what's right, and he acts from a purely mental space. And the divine feminine today. Okay, this one slid around the most. Okay, Queen of Swords. Oh, wow. A perfect pair. The Queen of Swords is, well, the King of Swords knows his mind, has learned from experience, knows the difference between right and wrong, is not swayed by emotion, all the action he takes. The Queen of Swords, likewise, has experienced and seen everything. She knows the world. She knows what's in her surroundings. She knows right from wrong. She knows her mind. And she receives from a clear-minded and very mentally balanced perspective. So these two they're a match. Let's see what the nature of each of these are, because people are more complex than these characters. These are almost like cartoon characters of people, right? So we're going to take from the Dreamtime reading cards a flavor that each of these people embody. Ooh, the queen is the red-bellied racer, and the king is Walkabout, bare feet. So the red-bellied racer, the red-bellied black snake, represents independence, and the king is Walkabout, bare feet. So this queen, she is she's a mental person. She's a person who gives wise counsel. She cuts through the BS, and in her deeper nature is the red-bellied black snake, which is the only snake in Australia, I think it's the only snake, that gives birth to its babies live. And the snake, it takes care, this red-bellied snake, it takes care of its young. In fact, it will come together with other mothers to get together and have their babies so that they can help each other protect the young. And this card talks about independence because it warns you to accept help from others when necessary. The snake is very much associated with female issues like initiation events like your first menses, childbirth, menopause, and it tells us to remember that we can be independent, but that it doesn't interfere with our independence to ask for and accept help. So this queen actually sounds pretty balanced, because she is kind of she's called the Ice Queen because she knows her mind and she doesn't take any crud from anybody, and she is independent, but she's also a nurturer. She's also somebody who works within community very well. This king, again, the Ice King, cuts with that golden sword right through the heart of matters. And in his deeper nature, he takes his bare feet and he walks his land. In this sense means that he gets to know all situations very well. If you're talking about a kingdom, he would actually take off his shoes and he would walk the kingdom to discover every corner. He would meet every person in the kingdom. He would get to know all of the social dynamics of the situation, and he would make sure that he rules fairly based on an intimate knowledge of his kingdom. So if you're talking about a person just in daily life, in our divine masculine, we're talking about a masculine who uses his intellect and his experience to make decisions about life. So what do these two have in common as a pair? What we have, the King and Queen of Swords, a perfect match. So we think that they would be pretty well in harmony. The Queen being a bit more, they're both community minded, but the Queen is more involved with the nurturing of the community, whereas the King, he gets to know the community and he makes rules based on what he knows. He's still not consulting other people, though. So between the two of them, if they're two halves of a coin, what do they have in common? The King of Wands. And the Emperor. Wow. This is a power couple for sure. So between these two halves, if you're thinking about these two sides of your personality or two sides of a relationship, these two people have in common this. First of all, they're very stable. They can be stubborn, and they can be impetuous. They're fiery people. They rule from their passions. So, wow, these are very powerful people. We've got air and fire together, and air and fire together is hot, hot, hot. Forest fires, right? And they can both be vain, and they can both be stubborn. And it looks like this pair, together they can be a little heartless. So which aspect of the Queen, what talents could the Queen lend to this King to make him better, to help round him out? The Eight of Coins, the Eight of Pentacles. She's a hard worker. She can lend him an ability to focus and master his craft. Get some more information about that, clarify that a little bit. Always looking for new ways, new opportunities. Master your craft and looking for new opportunities to expand the kingdom, to expand yourself, to deepen your ability to be productive at a higher level. She would want him. So these are strengths of the Queen that she would lend to the King. Be productive. she would want him to focus a little bit more in the material world. Remember, she's down with the snakes. She understands the things of life and death. He sees the things of life and death, and he understands them, but he's not necessarily participating in them. She would have him be a little less head in the clouds, seeing everything as a nebulous possibility, and have those dreams, but keep them bound to the earth, keep them practical, and to use his inner strength in the face of things that scare him. I have a feeling that this king has a bit of a temper because of the King of Wands, and that he's a bit stubborn. Obviously, they both are. So this king might refuse to deal with certain things if he feels too triggered. And the queen wants him to, get his feet on the ground. He's the king of ideas. She wants him to get his feet on the ground and focus more on practical things, on becoming larger than life in practical ways, even if it scares him. What talents would the king possess that he would lend to the queen? Interesting. That's here too. He would say, keep looking to the horizon. That's a Two of Swords. Keep looking to the horizon for ways for your inner being to match with your outer being. So he's got a fire, he's got a passion inside of him that is it's burning to be seen outside of him. He walks around with a passion in his gut that he knows he's going to find, but he hasn't found quite yet. He's a seeker. So that's probably why he doesn't seem grounded to the feminine. He doesn't seem like he's putting his head down and working hard, because he hasn't quite figured out yet what he wants to work hard on. And so he's still looking. Let's clarify that. Yeah. He's blinded by his options. He sees everything as an option, and he wants to leave his options open. Let's get a couple more. So, since this is his advice to the queen, he would say, stop focusing so much on the practical, stop focusing so much on the practical. Allow yourself to be dazzled by the options available to you. Defend this ability to be free, and that will bring you bliss. This king might be, he is. This king's a traveler. He's on Walkabout. He's not only walking about his kingdom, he's walking about the world. He's a seeker. Oh, get a hold of that. This king's a seeker, and he gets his heart sings with the call of traveling. The more he sees in the world, the stronger he feels it makes him. But he's not I think he maybe doesn't see that he's not finding. He hasn't yet found the contentment. That's what it is. Okay, so he's not yet found contentment in staying in this kingdom, ruling in the way that this queen would. He wants to advise her that she needs to look to the horizon more and realize there's more out there that she might be settling for. He thinks that she needs to see the value in more options available to the both of them. Because remember, this is a divine union. We're talking about either these are two sides of you, or if you choose to, you can read this as your relationship with another person. Either way, this reading is one entity. This is a relationship. It's a connection. So these parts are working together. So he thinks that they need to be more open. She thinks that and follow more passion. She thinks that they need to settle down and be a little bit more practical. So what does the queen appreciate about this king? This queen might have babies. This queen might have children too. She appreciates, okay. She appreciates that he can actually close his mind, close his eyes to the reality around him, and live in the land of ideas. Remember, he's a king who's a dreamer. And you can't be a dreamer if you're sitting all day in the reality of all these pentacles, working. He's a dreamer, and she likes that about him. She probably finds that inspiring. It's something she loves about him. It inspires her. His advice to her is focus less on the practical, and what she loves about him is that he doesn't get, or that this typically means that somebody is bound within their thoughts. I'm reading this as this person is choosing to be blind to reality, blind to the thoughts. She's like, I know this, and I know this, and I know this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, but I'm not looking at any of them. I just want to be all up in my head with my fantasies. She loves that about this king. Get a couple more for that. Oh. Okay. So she loves that he can turn a blind eye to reality. He's a dreamer. That he realizes that fighting to win at the cost of others is not is something you'll regret. She likes that he's self-conscious, and she likes that he feels like wow. Okay. I think this queen might be a little bit self-destructive, because she likes that he doesn't really represent a solid new beginning, a solid the foundation he brings to her, the opportunity he brings to her is very limited. I kind of want to know more about that. He doesn't always act with the highest of integrity. He can't always be judged without, with impunity for his actions. And he doesn't like to think of himself as somebody that fights to win, but he does, but he feels bad about it. And he closes his eyes to reality. Oh my goodness. So she likes the darker aspects of this king. This dreamer king could even be a little bit verbally abusive, maybe. He doesn't put his coins into... She likes that he's a dreamer, right? So she actually likes that he doesn't represent a stable, materially stable opportunity. And she even likes the fact that he acts like a bit of a dirty bird sometimes. Okay, you know what? We all like the bad boy. Sure. Okay, that's what she loves about him. What does he love about her? This queen has a wild ride for herself. What he loves about her, oh, he loves that she's the star. She represents hope. He loves that she is intuitive and that she's a seeker within herself. He's a seeker within the world, but he's a seeker within the world, but she's a seeker within the spiritual plane. She is intuitive. She seeks to have a spiritual life that she can implement in her practical life, and she can manifest really high vibe things from what the experiences that she's had. Whereas he lives in the world of the mind. She lives in the world of spirituality, of the heart, of the mind, but the mind leveled up. She lives in consciousness. That's what I'm trying to say. He lives in the world of the mind. He ignores the truth and lives in fantasy, whereas she lives in higher consciousness, and she seeks to bring that into her practical world for he loves this about her. All right, well, let's get a few more on that then. This is very interesting because this queen seems to be the more practical one, but what he loves about her is that she's divinely practical. She not only wants to work within the practical world, but she wants to bring a higher consciousness to it. Whereas he can only perceive a fantasy. She knows that fantasy on steroids is spiritual enlightenment. Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, hold on, I dropped the cards. Most of these went on the floor, but I got them, and the two that stayed on the table were this. Okay, we're talking about what he loves about her, that she is, consciousness, the Knight of Cups in reverse, and the Eight of Pentacles. He likes that she doesn't rush forward with her emotions and that she works hard. The very thing that she would tell him to do is what he likes best about her, that he understands, he sees in her that she takes the the spiritual and brings it into the practical. Just like I said, she doesn't let her emotions run away with her. She is very practical about her approach to things, and he loves this about her. I think it's interesting too that that we already said this, that he wants him to get his head out of the clouds, and it's bearing out. This message is bearing out. All right, so we know what they would give each other, what they love about each other. Okay. What do they secretly find really annoying about each other? What does the queen find annoying about the king? Well, that he sees a stability between them in a happily ever after. I want to know more about that story. Why is that annoying? Because she thinks that it's based on fantasy. This is the Empress in reverse. She thinks that he's not using his best, he's not learning enough about the situation to get here, that this is happening in the realm of fantasy, is not taking practical steps to get there. And the Page of Wands in reverse, carrying forward messages that aren't well understood. Wow. It's a very wandy king, so yeah, that's... She doesn't think that he's a... it seems like she doesn't think that he's a stable leader. His wands are out of whack in her mind. Not for him, but in her mind. What she secretly thinks is annoying. She might want this happily ever after with him, but it's not showing up. He's not bringing it. He's not bringing it. He's not seeing it. And the Four of Cups. Yeah. She thinks he's not properly seeing the opportunities here. He's rushing around carrying messages of passion that are not aimed at getting. She doesn't think he can get there from there. She doesn't think he can get there from there, because he's not following his intuition and he's not learning enough about how to get there. He's still got his eyes on that horizon. That love is not the first thing on his mind. It just isn't. Love is not the first thing on his mind. He's all up in his head. He's all up in his fantasies, and that secretly irritates her. Okay, what secretly irritates this masculine about this feminine? Yep. She is the queen of stability. Her feet are planted in the ground, and she is busy taking care of business. She's busy taking care of people, making dinner, making food. Let's get some cards for that. Yeah, he thinks she is way too feet on the ground. He wants her to dream with him. He loves that about himself. And you know what? No, probably that's why she loves that he seems a little bit free and impractical, because she is so practical. She probably, and look, again, the red-bellied black snake, she's the caretaker. She probably does have kids, this feminine. She probably has kids, and she doesn't have the luxury of being so free. Okay, what's this? Six of Cups in reverse. She romanticizes the past. She sees it as something it wasn't. So she keeps her head down into all these pinnacles, into all of this practical work, when she may be doing it based on... She doesn't need to be doing it, maybe. Maybe she's doing it based on memories that aren't right. Yep. Wow. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, yeah, so she's a little deluded about the past. How could I understand this? She's a drudge. He thinks she's a drudge. He thinks she's a little bit of a drip. She's always looking to the past. She remembers it differently than it was. This makes her want to be all sentimental about the kind of work that needs to happen, or it makes her think that she has to keep being practical and working on all of these things and providing all of these things that are practical around her, but it makes her boring. He thinks she's boring. Yeah, she doesn't take fast action. She takes action toward things that he doesn't value. Oh, he secretly thinks she's so boring. Oh, that makes me sad. Okay, well, there it is. So, what would this queen say to the king? No, let's not ask it that way. I think we already did that. Let's ask, how does this queen propose reconciling these conflicts between them? How does she propose? How does she propose it? These two flipped over, I guess, so let's just take them. Okay. She proposes that there be way more emotion. She wants to lovingly end the cycle that they've been in, and create a new beginning based on love. So perhaps if we're talking about one person, but these are two sides of one person, the feminine side recognizes that these two halves are not blending. She would like to apply emotion. She would like to master the emotions in this situation. Don't make emotional choices, but get clear about where the love is here and break down the foundation of this and build it again. She wants to bring down the tower and find the common ground between these sides and try again. She wants to start over based on what are the most loving aspects of this union. And again, if you're not reading this as two sides of one person, same thing. The feminine wants to find the love, and she wants to destroy the foundations of this. She's willing to. She's strong enough to. She sees it as a practical step to take control of our emotions. Let's not all get crazy about this, but let's figure out what needs to be rebuilt here. I'm willing to let some things go. Are you? This is what she's suggesting and what she's asking, what she's asking of him, which this is her suggestion for how to bring this situation into harmony. She thinks everybody will feel victorious. She thinks everybody will feel prosperous. She thinks this will be a victorious and prosperous way to move forward. She doesn't know how. She doesn't know how this is going to work. But again, she knows it's what needs to happen. She doesn't see things being able to progress as they stand. She wants to take a loving perspective on this and figure out how to retool this whole situation so that we can cooperate. Something needs to come down. She is very, very sure that this queen is a little bit of a badass because she's actually willing to destroy a lot of the things that this whole thing is built on, because she has faith that remember, this is what she wants to do to make it come together. She has faith that it will be rebuilt, like how a forest fire allows new growth to germinate. That's what she thinks is going to happen here, or that's what she suggests. That's her idea for how to bring this into union. All right, what's his idea? Oh, I'm so interested to see what this is. What's your idea, King? What's your response? What's your idea? How are we going to fix this union? Masculine. He just sees marriage as a burden. He suggests, all right, either that or he thinks rules are a burden. He's really not interested in cooperating. Let's get some more on this. He likes to be free. He doesn't want to figure it out. He feels good. Yeah. He's the key. He also is emotionally secure. He is also emotionally balanced. He feels just fine. He thinks it's a burden to try to figure this out, to try to come up with a construct for it, because he is emotionally balanced. He doesn't see a problem here. Yeah, he doesn't see a problem. See, what she likes about him is the Eight of Swords. And this is the Eight of Swords in the reverse. He doesn't even see himself as being the Eight of Swords. He thinks his eyes are wide open. He sees that he thinks that he sees everything clearly. He knows exactly how to get it out of any bindings that he's in. He doesn't feel bound. These ties are loose, and he knows it. He knows that if he stands up, he can walk straight out of these thoughts and ideas and onto something else. He's emotionally stable. He feels good. He's good. He could stay here. He could stay in this situation. He isn't even suggesting that anything about her change. He's just like, what's wrong with how we're doing things? Can't we just keep doing them this way? Let's get one more for that. One more, please, for the masculine. He makes his own rules. Yep, I'm emotionally stable. Your rules are a burden. I'm emotionally stable. I know exactly where I'm going, and I make my own rules. But he's fine. He's not actually suggesting anything happen to bring this into harmony. So, what is the possible outcome if we continue with these two sides having this same, staying in the same situation, given what we know about them? Possible outcome. I need to clarify that. Eight of Cups. But that's a confusing. Five of Cups. Two of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. So the possible outcome is that this love may need to be walked away from, or this connection, this union progresses not based on love. It could continue to progress based on passion and ideas. Love, it's pretty easy to walk away from this love. Or no, the likely outcome is that the love will have, the back will be turned on the love, because somebody or both in this connection, one or both of these sides, is focusing not on what they have left, but what they have spilled. They're focusing on, they got a glass half empty perspective on the situation. This union has clashes, and it's caused this glass half empty feeling in the connection. Both sides feel self-conscious and like they are not cooperating. This is the two of coins in reverse. So they're not cooperating well together. There's definitely two camps. There's definitely two camps in this connection, and both of them are self-conscious about it. Both of them, and they're not seeing eye to eye. They're working together, but not in a happy way. And the Knight of Wands. This uncooperative, glass half empty feeling makes people feel like following new passions. So the back might be turned on this love. That's the possible outcome of, it doesn't mean they'll split up, but it does mean that the likely outcome will be that there will be an non-fulfillment of the emotions in this connection, because this person is going off to seek the two missing cups. Now, what's interesting though is that the two empty cups are right there. While this person's busy feeling glass half empty about the whole thing, he could reach the 10 of Cups by turning around and looking behind him and realizing that in this situation, all 10 cups are here. But he's not seeing it. or I don't know why I keep saying, I was saying he because I see a man, but she could not be seeing it. She's walking away from 8 full cups in search of the 2 that are full, but the 2 that are full are right behind her. She thinks that they're going to be behind that mountain, and they're right here. They're right here in the spread. They're right here in this connection. Yeah. So that's the likely outcome. That's a really sad outcome. Oh no. Okay, let's see if we can get some advice. If this is you, take a look at your situation and figure out where the love is that you're not seeing. Oh, too many. So that's my advice, just based on this here. But I'm gonna ask for the cards' advice as well. Okay, the cards say the 9 of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how the tarot cards talk. Yes, okay, so the advice is, wow, oh my gosh, I've got chills actually. So we're looking, this person's trying to get the 10 of Pentacles, right? And the advice is, the way to get to the 10 is believe in the 9. Here we've got 8, going off for the 2 to get to the 10. In between the 8 and the 10 is the 9. Feel it in yourself. Feel like you have what you need. Feel abundant. Feel abundant. Okay, that's the start of the message. So the advice is feel abundant within yourself. She's not doing anything to feel abundant. She's not making coins. She's feeling abundant. She's not being a drudge and working hard. She's just knows that she has enough. So, for example, this queen who thinks everybody should work so hard is enough without it, okay? She has everything she needs even without that. This king who is a dreamer, he also is this without doing anything about it. People can feel abundant anytime they believe they are, if they look around them for themselves for the cups they're not seeing. You don't always have to travel to far horizons to find those cups. Sometimes you can find them within yourself or within the situation you're already in. Okay, so this is fascinating. Let's get some advice for this 9 of Cups. Whoa. Okay, the advice is, or the 9 of Coins, sorry. But let's get a couple more, hold on. The Devil. Devil in the upright. Feel abundant. Be aware of addictions. That's what the Devil tells us. Be aware of. Whoa! Hold on. A couple more. What's some more advice for the 9 of Pentacles? Nothing's coming out. Maybe that's the complete advice. All right. The complete advice for this situation is feel abundant and beware of addictions. Beware of addictions that make you feel abundant. So, okay, let's say that this guy who is addicted to dreaming, addicted to looking for the bigger and better. Let's say he does that through drugs, through heroin or something, right? I mean, that's a little extreme. Drinking, whatever. He wants to feel transcendental. So instead of doing anything about it, like she thinks he should, he just prefers to believe it. He just seeks low vibe ways to get it, like drugs and alcohol, things like that. He wants to feel abundant, but he's finding it in low vibe ways. Now she, being the drudge that she is, she's addicted to being able to see the results, that makes her feel abundant. She needs to see cars around her, and she needs to see pretty clothes, and she needs to actually see manifestation. She's addicted to seeing the manifestation of what makes her feel abundant. So both of these people need to drop, both of these sides, both the masculine and the feminine, need to drop addictions to things that make them feel abundant. That's the advice. So I'm going to pull a couple more of the Dreamtime reading cards as what they should do instead. Each side, what is one aspect of life that each of these, the masculine and the feminine could peer into, could meditate upon to feel this abundance in a healthy way. For the queen, for the feminine. Brush fire, rebirth. This feminine actually knows this already. She knows that something, where is it? Where's the tower? Where'd it go? Yeah, here it is. This feminine knows something needs to come down. She knows it. She wants to do it with the masculine. The brush fire, rebirth. She wants to burn it down. She wants to burn down what isn't working and rebuild what is working. And she wants to do this in a loving way so that there can be rebirth in this connection. She knows that this needs to happen, and she wants to do it with the masculine. But she knows that, but what she's being told is to seek the abundance in rebirth no matter what. She needs to do this for herself regardless. She's got addictions that need to be looked at, and she needs to find the rebirth in tearing down things that aren't working. That's her inspiration. Look at ways to rebuild. Even if this is one personality we're talking about, if the dreamer side can't be convinced to change, it's okay. You can still go ahead and drop the tower on other things that aren't working. Maybe this side seems to be pretty happy with itself. This side doesn't want to change. The masculine side doesn't want to change. The masculine side feels really good, really comfortable. The feminine is the one that's having trouble with the masculine side. So why is she so bothered about this? She's the judgmental one here. She's the one that's having trouble with the masculine side of herself or of this connection. So she needs to take a look at what's her problem, She needs to be thinking about what would make her feel abundant, what needs to come down for her. Because ideally, we should be able to take a look at anything that we perceive as bothering us as something that's bothering us within ourselves. She needs to burn down something within herself that's keeping her from feeling peaceful with this connection. What's the masculine's advice? What's his inspiration for how to feel abundant without being a fantasist? Be strong, have strong foundations, the mountain. That's so interesting. It is so interesting because this whole reading we've been talking about the masculine being extremely pleased with staying a fantasist, not liking rules, not wanting to be grounded, thinking that work, this practical work is a drudgery. And we've even given him a pass by telling him that it's all in the Queen's judgments, that there's anything wrong with him at all. And then his overall inspiration and advice for how to feel abundant is actually be more practical. He's being told to be the mountain, to get rooted and stay firm and know who you are and know where you are and know the sky above you and know the ground below you and weather the erosion and watch the seasons pass and feel your own inner strength. Have strong foundations to feel abundant, that you can dream all day long. You can dream as much as you want. You can be a mountain and continue to dream, but you have to plant yourself somewhere and let your foundations sink into you. Become your foundations. Know yourself. That's the message. That's the overall message and advice for this king. Be the dreamer, but not at the expense of knowing yourself, knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for. And how beautiful these colors are together, right? They're so complementary. They really seem like they're two parts of the same message. This is so flowy and dynamic, and this is so strong and steady. This feels so masculine, and this feels so feminine. She needs to be free, and he needs to be more stable. And together they'll be the yin and yang of this situation. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful outcome. Oh my goodness, this is so wonderful. I hope that this inspired you in some way, that you can apply it to yourself or to your relationships. And have a joyful, joyful day.